Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. The title of our presentation today is The Future Role of Indonesian Carbon Exchange in Advancing Sustainable Development, Bridging Theory and Practice. My name is Anggi Widestuti, and I'm presenting together with my colleagues Heni Utari Setianingrum, Imelda Pransika, Ricky Bintang Perdana, and Zerin Destiva Pasa Ramadhani. We are from Faculty of Law, Universitas Internasional Batam, Indonesia. In this presentation, we will explore how Indonesian Carbon Exchange, known as IDX Carbon, can play a strategic role in supporting the country's sustainable development goal, and how the legal framework behind it connect theory with real-world practice. Let's begin with some background. Indonesia ratified the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the Kyoto Protocol, and the Paris Agreement through a series of laws enacted in 1994, 2004, and 2016. Building on this international commitment, Indonesia set an ambitious target under its enhanced nationally determined contribution, reducing greenhouse gas emission by 31.89% through domestic effort alone, or up to 43.20% with international support, measured against the business as usual scenario by 2030. To help achieve this target, the government issued Presidential Regulation Number 98 of 2021, which established carbon trading as an instrument for realizing what called carbon economic value. Then Law Number 4 of 2023 went a step further by formally bridging carbon exchange transactions in the financial sector, placing them under the supervision of Indonesian Financial Service Authority or OJK. As a result, since September 2023, IDX Carbon has officially operated under the Indonesia Stock Exchange. But it's important to understand that IDX Carbon is not merely a trading platform. It represents a meeting point where law, economic, environmental policy, finance, and technology all come together. The next slide will be explained by my colleague Zerin.
Okay, next I will explain the Dassolin and Dasein gap. Dassolin refers to what the law should be, while Dasein refers to how the law actually works in practice. In the Indonesian carbon market, I found four main gaps. First, the legal status of carbon units is still unclear, especially whether carbon units can be fully classified as securities under Indonesian capital market law. Second, there is an issue of intergenerational justice. The interests and voices of indigenous people and communities affected by carbon projects are not always adequately incorporated. Third, there is institutional overlap. OJK, environmental authorities, and the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources have responsibility that may intersect in regulating the carbon market. Fourth, there is a greenwashing risk. Previous experience with green bond shows the independent verification and sanction may still be insufficient to prevent the misuse of environmental claims or proceeds. These four issues show that there is still a gap between the legal framework and its implementation in practice. Next, for the theoretical and conceptual framework, this research used two main theories and four supporting concepts. In this part, I will focus on two theories and one concept. The first is legal norm theory, which distinguishes between the solent or what the law should be and the sane or how the law works in practice. This help identify the gap between regulation and implementation. The second is legal effectiveness theory by Surjono Sukanto, which focus on five factors affecting the effectiveness of law. There are legal substance, law enforcement, facilities, society, and legal culture. The concept I will explain is the polluter pays principle, which means that those responsible for pollution should bear the environmental costs they create. And the next session will be presented by my colleagues. Thank you.
Okay, number four, intergenerational equity. Intergenerational equity ensure responsible resource management, protecting future generation and local communities while promising fair distribution of environmental and economic benefits. Number five, sustainable development as a legal principle. Sustainable developments balance economic growth, environmental protection, and social justice, guiding IDX carbon toward climate action and acquirable benefits. The last, number six, legal certainty. Legal certainty ensure clear and consistent rules for carbon units, regulatory authority, and verification, strengthening market confidence and environmental objectives. Next. Okay, moving on to the discussion. The first topic of discussion concern first regulatory and institutional framework of the Indonesian Carbon Exchange. Indonesia has made provision in three laws. The first law, number 4, 2023, Financial Sector Developments, placed the carbon exchange under OJK's supervision. Second, presidential regulation number 98 2021, carbon economy value the framework for trading, result-based payment, and private sector participation. And then number third, OJK regulation number 14 2023, carbon trading through carbon exchange, licensing, supervision, trading mechanism. And then with sport institutional coordination, OJK environmental authorities and the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources remain poorly coordinated of MRV standard registry integration and supervisory responsibilities. Exactly what Sukanto as legal effectiveness theory predicts, sound regulation alone is not enough without adequate institutions and facilities. Next. Next, please, Mrs. Imelda.
Thank you. This is point for two trading mechanic and carbon price dynamic. This is 1.6 million tons CO2e cumulation translation as of 40 cumulation translation as of July 2025 and 749 billion cumulation translation value and ID carbon. And this is for EDR 52 and 295 US and USD for 3 and 9 2027. Average carbon price per T CO2e June 2024 and May 2025. Equation regulates market transition and negotiation deals run on IDC carbon under C 0015 and BEI 2023. Yet Indonesian carbon price remain far below more mature market and such under EU ITS. A low carbon price, thus enough market participation, but it can weaken the economic intensity for gaining decarbonization. If emitting stay separate that recording emission, the carbon tax under law number 7 of 2021 also remind the light help back in coalition MRF infrastructure and under sporting Vincent mechanic. Ultimate indicates carbons and every types cannot be measured by transition for value alone. What matter is whether carbon pricing truly changed corporate before. And number three, listen from international carbon market participate. Europe Union, EU ETS, in number one, a strike emission cap market lobby and coordinate energy policy. The big mark for regulation discipline. And number two, China's. This is limit regulation and uneven local environment, yet its pilot schemes have proven to lower emission internet in several legislation. Number three, New Zealand. Strict complete override and interact of the forestry sector into emission trading sky. Highlight relevant to Indonesian forest and landscape. And number four, Malaysia and ASEAN. The combined carbon trading with robust sustainable investment strategy, ASEAN is pushing for cross-border staying in development city. This is my partner, Ricky Bintang. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sister Email. Okay, I will continue from my explain. We go to the chapter 4. That is the role of the carbon exchange in supporting sustainable development. First, alternative financing. Open channels for private green investment in renewable energy, RED, and pit land restoration, reducing reliance and public budgets. Second, reporting and disclosure. Encourage companies to improve sustainability reporting. That is, carbon emission disclosure is linked to higher firm value. Third, green Islamic finance opens opportunities for green sukuk and Sharia-based carbon accounting, connecting carbon finance to the Islamic financial ecosystem. And fourth, signal to investor or ESG. Combining carbon trading with ESG disclosure strengthens investor confidence and may lower the cost of the green capital. Next, chapter 5, future challenge and strategies for strengthening IDX carbon. First, harmonize regulation through a dedicated carbon economic value law that clarifies the legal status of carbon units. Second, strengthen market liquidity via fiscal incentive and broader sectoral participation toward net zero pathways. Third, build capacity in validation, verification, MRV, and digital registry infrastructure. Accredited institutions remain limited. Fourth, tighten safeguards against double counting and greenwashing, aligned with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. 5. Treat carbon market governance as an interdisciplinary effort spanning law, economics, environment, and technology. And the last, deepen international cooperation through ASEAN interoperability and joint university research. And the last conclusion from us, first, a legal foundation exists, but gaps remain. IDX Carbon's regulatory and institutionally framework is largely in place, yet harmonization, coordination, and verification capacity still need strengthening. Second, international cooperation confirms the pattern. The EU, China, New Zealand, and ASEAN show that an effective carbon market needs strong enforcement, reliable MRV, and adequate participation, not regulation or on paper alone. And the last, from trading platform to climate finance instrument. IDX Carbon should evolve into an instrument that internalizes the polluter pays principle, advance intergenerational equity, and mobiles green investment. Okay, that is from us. Thank you.